Thank you for tuning in to Traveling Things with Profe Agayu. I'm going to do a video on the top places for Black Americans to move outside of the US. Now, this research is based on uh, about over 30 something sources, and it's based on the accounts of people who have moved since 2019. Now, there is not a lot of complete research out there, so I just found a method in finding several resources that that dealt with firsthand accounts of people who have moved since 2019, and based on those accounts, I tallied up what country they were moving to, and this is how I got the results that I got from this research. Now, the way I'm going to break it down is by region. So, first region, you will have Africa. Second region, you'll have Asia. Third region, you'll have uh, Europe. And the fourth region, you'll have America. Now, the most the most popular countries for Black people moving abroad, Black Americans moving abroad, I should say, is definitely Mexico and Ghana. Mexico, I will go into more detail why that is. The obvious reason is because it's to the south, and then Ghana is just the hotspot for those folks moving to Africa. Now, Africa. Let's start off with Africa. Ghana is definitely by far the most popular. Ghana has have recently had a a female president, which just it shows their progression as far as gender equality that you may not see in some other countries. Also, it is a small country, yet it is very developed and one of the most developed countries in the continent. Ghana has at some point beginning started a program where it allowed folks to move to Ghana who and become citizens who were able to tie their roots to Ghana. So if you were able to tie your roots to Ghana, then Ghana had a pathway to citizenship, which is very attractive to a lot of folks who are looking to resettle permanently outside of the U.S. Uh, and there's a lot of folks. If you go through on YouTube, there's a lot of folks who are based out of Ghana who definitely can share a lot of information with those folks who are interested in Ghana specifically. The second most popular country in the African continent is Tanzania. Now, Tanzania is in East Africa. Their main language is Swahili, and Tanzania was always for centuries a hotspot for trade. Now, Tanzania is East Africa, right off the Gulf of Africa, right off the Indian Ocean, and so that port, Zanzibar, that area was a hotspot for traders coming from South Asia and Southeast Asia, as well as different parts of the Middle East. So it's definitely has a long history of uh, international travelers, and it's very historical. It's very beautiful. The beaches, the islands over there are very beautiful, and because it is one of the more developed countries in Africa, it's definitely attracted a lot of folks who are interested in moving to the continent. The third most popular country that Black folks are moving to from the U.S. is South Africa. Now, South Africa is uh, one of the most developed countries in the continent, if not the most developed. And for many reasons, people are moving there. One, they speak English. English is one of the main languages, as well as Afrikaans and some other local languages. Also, South Africa is has a more has a strong Western influence there, more so than other countries in Africa, especially from the British and the Dutch, and and popular culture. When people think of Africa, South Africa is definitely one of the things they think of when you look at when you think about the safari, or when you think about uh, history with the apartheid or Shaka Zulu and things of that nature. Most recently, in the past 2 years, Most Def, well, formerly known as Most Def, he goes by a different name now. I can't think about it off the top of my head, but he has relocated there, and a lot of folks have been moving to South Africa because they find it very attractive. Now, though this is not though this may not be one of the most popular places that I found that Black folks are moving to in Africa, but Cape Verde is definitely a popular spot that is underrated. Quite a few folks are moving there. Now Cape Verde is, I would say, probably one of the less talked about African countries because it is there are a set of islands off the continent, and because it's small, yet it is definitely very beautiful, uh, relatively inexpensive. They're they are definitely uh, I like South Africa. Uh, have a stronger Western influence from Portugal because their language there is Portuguese, and it's definitely a place that, based on the research I've done, folks have moved and stayed for decades or for many years, not just move to a particular country for a few years and move on. Because based on my research, you find that a lot of folks are sort of nomads. They'll live here for a few months or here for a few years and then move to the next country. And Cape Verde is definitely one of those countries that people actually move to and stay for the long run. Now let's move on to Asia. The most popular country that Black folks are moving to in the Asia on the Asian continent is South Korea. Now South Korea is a very developed country. South Korea is I've been to South Korea, so I can attest to this. It's definitely open to uh, foreigners, and for Black people, based on the accounts I've seen, they are welcoming, and they are interested. They do definitely find Black people interested, interesting, especially Black people from the United States. So you may find a lot of folks enjoy that. Also, one of the biggest jobs that are popular in South Korea is teaching, and I think this is definitely something throughout the Asian continent. But teaching English as a second language is definitely the most popular job that you'll find Black Americans getting into in Asia. The second most popular country there is Vietnam. Vietnam. I heard one account from a black woman. She had mentioned that folks moving to Vietnam, they either love it or hate it. And what she meant by that is Vietnam is welcoming. However, they stare a lot because they find you curious. Because you come from another country, they find you curious. There's not a lot of black people um, in Vietnam, although there are black natives in Vietnam um, that you don't often hear about. But that's a topic from another video. But it definitely find you curious. And she said that can rub people the wrong way. However, if you love it and you find yourself to be social, and you would definitely get far along in Vietnam. The other place is Thailand. Now, Thailand is a place where a lot of people speak English. Um, you will find it has a long history of expatriatism from the U.S. So for black folks moving there, especially black folks that are part of the LGBTQ community, you would definitely find Vietnam and Thailand to be more welcoming than other parts of Asia. And now Thailand is just, it speaks for itself. It has a heavy influence from the United States. Well, European, as far as European culture and popular culture, tourism, everything. It's just very that it's very popular, and they have really, really nice beaches. They have a lot of folks there teaching English. Um, you'll find that they're from the Vietnam War. There's definitely from that era. There's definitely have been Thailand was a safe haven for Americans in the Vietnam War. So that relationship with Thailand and that influence has definitely increased over the years, and you can see it amongst the Black expat community or the expat community there in general. So though it's not one of the necessarily the top three or top four even in Asia, Taiwan is definitely a place that is underrated. Now, Taiwan is a small island, tropical island country, and they are China considers Taiwan to be part of China, and any country that has a significant, trade or a significant relationship with the Chinese government will have to denounce that Taiwan is independent and that it's part of China in order to have that relationship with China. So with that said, uh, many folks may not even consider Taiwan to be an independent country, but the U.S. does. So with that said, uh, Taiwan is a highly developed country. It's they speak a lot of English there, and it's definitely a beautiful place that a lot of blacks expats would find to be a nice place to not just visit but to live. And on top of that, it's in the it's an island. It's not as isolated as you will find yourself if you were on you know an island further out in the Pacific Ocean, like maybe Hawaii or Guam or something of that sort. You don't have that isolated feeling because with Taiwan being so close to China, so close to the Philippines, so close to Japan, uh, if you ever develop that island fever, and feel the way to and felt the need to leave, you'll get to other places quickly. Now, let's move on to Europe. Now, by far, the most popular country in Europe is Spain. Black folks move to Spain because Spain is definitely one of the cheaper countries to live in Europe, but also, and many of the accounts I saw that Spain finds black people from the UK and North America to be interesting. And on top of that, Spain, uh, yeah, I think I already mentioned, it has nice weather for the most part. It's one of those countries that uh, where where they have nice beaches. You're still relatively close to, I don't know, if you want to travel to France or to North Africa or to other parts of Europe or some of the islands, some of the islands such as Malta or Italy, you'll find that it's very well um, positioned to travel to those different places. And Spain, because of the cost of living is lower than other parts of Europe, you will find it easier to settle there and to even create businesses, according to some of the accounts that I found. Another popular country is Germany. Now, Germany is popular because they have a lot of military bases there, a lot of U.S. military bases, and you'll find that a lot of people there uh, from the U.S. would marry or they get there and they like it there and they would just stay there. So for that reason, they have these black expat communities within Germany, and that in itself has attracted a lot of people from the U.S. to move to Germany. Portugal. Now, Portugal, like Spain, is one of the cheaper countries in Europe. Now, Portugal does have some perks that I don't really have not really seen in other countries in Europe. They may exist, but based on the accounts, I haven't seen it. But they have a healthcare program that is cheaper than other parts of Europe. And also, Portugal, one woman said that in Portugal, she feels, even though she's black and she's from the United States, when she meets people in Portugal, they don't automatically assume that she's a foreigner. And they do not automatic and they immediately speak Portuguese with her without the assumption that, oh, she's from the US, so she must speak English, or she's from another country, so she must speak English. And she said that she really enjoys that about Portugal. Now, another country that's not part of the top three countries in Europe, however, it's underrated but still popular, is Turkey. Now, one of the accounts I learned about Turkey is that Turkey is a welcoming country for Black people, and it is beautiful. And though Turkey is considered part of Europe, probably part of Europe, and probably part of Asia, I threw it in the Europe category just simply because its largest city, Istanbul, is in Europe, so I'll just go with that. But Turkey is definitely a country with a lot of a lot of history, a lot of historical sites. It's still close to get around to other parts of Europe and Asia, and because it's a welcoming country, because they're based on the accounts, Black people have felt really comfortable there. I threw that in the category for underrated places in Europe. And let's move on to America. Now, the most popular place for Black folks leaving the United States and America is Mexico. Mexico is just to the south. Mexico is easy to get to. Mexico is often the first foreign country that people travel to in the U.S. and it's still easy to travel back to the U.S. To visit family and stuff from Mexico. So that's one of the reasons what makes Mexico very attractive. Um, Another reason is the cost of living is much cheaper to live in Mexico than the U.S. In addition, Mexico is beautiful. It has many beautiful parts, and though you have a lot of Black folks moving to Tijuana, hell, you have Black folks moving to Tijuana because they don't want to live in San Diego, so they live in Tijuana and commute to San Diego to go to work. Uh, but on top of that, you'll find a lot of Black folks live in the Mexico City just because it's the city, it's the opportunity, it's the business capital of the country. But I find that most Black folks that move to Mexico move to the Yucatan Peninsula, whether that's Cancun, to Tulum, that Yucatan Peninsula because it's cheap, but you can also live right off the Caribbean and enjoy the weather and the beaches and the low cost of living. I've also found that Mexico was one of those countries that single single parents have moved to, with their children. I also want to add in there too. I did see somewhere that Mexico, uh, a lot of folks go to that want to pay cheap tuition. There are professional schools like medical school and those sorts in Mexico where they can still learn in English but pay a much cheaper tuition that they would pay in the U.S. So the second most popular country in America is Costa Rica. Now Costa Rica has a relatively low cost of living. It's beautiful. It's safe, much safer than a lot of other countries mentioned on this list. And 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 Costa Rica is has a lot of expatriates moving there, not just black expatriates, but black expatriates in general. So that makes that country more attractive, and it has that uh, welcoming infrastructure that you may not find in other countries. Another popular country in America is the third one is Panama. Now, Panama, part of Panama, the Panama Canal Zone used to be part of the U.S. So, with that said, it's always had a a strong U.S. influence in the country, and a lot of Black folks are moving there because one I heard this one Black man told mentioned in one of the accounts is that uh, Panama honors its African history, and he liked it about Panama. Uh, Panama is a diverse country. It's a beautiful country, beautiful climate, beaches. One account mentioned that Panama City has developed so much over the years that it resembles uh, Miami. So that may be attractive for a lot of people. So therefore, Black folks are moving there. And a couple of other countries that may not be necessarily in the top three or even four countries for Black people. But one country I did have to mention was Trinidad Tobago, which I think is an underrated country that's not often talked about for as far as in the expatriate community. However, one account of this lady moving, this guy moving to Trinidad and Tobago is Uh, he said it's a lower cost of living and it's a beautiful country, and he just feels really comfortable there. He had went there to to visit and just stayed. So I think that is that says a lot about that country, and maybe a lot of other folks out there will find the same feeling if they were to visit Trinidad and Tobago. The other country, of course, the country I'm moving to, I had to mention this one, is the Dominican Republic. Now, one of the accounts I found based on the research I just did on the Dominican Republic was a lot of single parents are moving to the Dominican Republic because of the cost of living and because it's a easier. Excuse me, lady mentioned that it's an easier country to deal with than the U.S. as far as some of the racism and and oppression that a lot of black folks get from feel from being in the U.S. And that's why she took her son out there to the Dominican Republic, and she's not son, her daughter out there to the Dominican Republic, and that's why she feels at home, and she's been there for years. Now, I hope you all enjoyed this. Uh, I felt the need to do a video of this sort just simply because there is no research out there. So I wanted to do some research and put together something based on the research I've done to give an idea of where Black folks are moving to and in different parts of the world. I do want to admit that even though I looked up over 30 something sources, firsthand accounts, and then there was 30 something sources, and these were firsthand accounts of people moving to these different countries since 2019. The majority of these accounts were from Black women, so it's biased towards Black women. So I do want to mention that. And in a future video that I will do, I will have a top 10 countries for Black men to move to. I would do that specifically just because of this, how slanted this research is towards Black women. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe.